Want to get an extra $5,000 more than what you paid for your car? Well, car prices are still ridiculously high, so now would be the time to sell, right? Wrong. You may be tempted right now since you would get more money out of your car, but there are a few things you should consider before offering up your car to potential buyers. Hello people of the internet, I'm Nico, a kind of Walmart version of Jay Leno, and this is what you need to know about selling your car and why I think you should wait until 2023 before offering it up for sale. So you want to sell your car and you have many ways and places to sell, but how do you choose? Well, that'll depend on the car you have and the kind of person that would buy it. So for most people, you'll be looking at selling at a dealership, even a place like CarMax where you can get an offer the day you show up. This is probably the easiest option as there's just little work involved for you, but it is also the least profitable. Though it must be said that selling at a dealership does have the benefit of credibility. Your next option would be to take matters into your own hands and just sell it privately. You would still have the same choice of websites that the dealerships would use, such as AutoTrader and Cars.com, the difference being that you are in charge of listing it for a good price and meeting all potential buyers. You will likely be able to sell your car just fine if you undercut the dealership's list price, but me personally, I trust that a car really is in good condition at a dealership over a private seller. It just has to do with the whole credibility advantage of being a dealership. Before I move on to the next option, I want to quickly speak on all the different websites and which website is best for your sale. For normal cars like a Toyota Camry that's in good condition and maybe a few years old, the previously mentioned websites AutoTrader and Cars.com are both very good locations to post your car for sale. However, should your car be in worse condition or maybe a few years older so that most people may not be interested in it, then you may want to look at places like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. There's one very good reason to use Facebook Marketplace, which I'll get to in a minute, but there are a few things you should know before using it. The next websites, and with that the next selling option you have, are auction sites. This likely won't be an option for most people as auction websites are normally for collector cars. If you have something rarer though, something that a car enthusiast or a car collector would buy, then websites like Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids are both very good options. These are probably the most profitable, but this will only work for very specific cars. Before I get to all the paperwork you need to sell your car, there's a crucial thing to note about the websites, which is that most of them have listing fees. Usually it's on a time basis, so X amount of money for 30 days or some similar time frame. And this goes for all the major listing sites that I mentioned previously, except for Facebook Marketplace, which is free. Craigslist also has a listing fee, but it's only $5, which is significantly less than a listing on a more prestigious website. Now that you know how you want to sell your car, there are several important documents that you need before you can sell. If you already know what you need, then you can skip ahead to my reasoning for waiting to sell, but for those of you who want to know, listen up. First and foremost, you need the title. It is easily the most important document as it legally states your ownership of the car, and if you want to sell, then you need to have it. Now technically, if you have a bill of sale that both the buyer and the seller signs, then that can count. But then the buyer is responsible for all sorts of legal shenanigans which may put off potential buyers, so just make it easy and have the title. You should be able to get a copy online even if the original is lost or damaged. Now, the bill of sale is not a required item in all states, but some states do require both. In the case that you don't have a title, then a bill of sale is required in order to legally recognize the change in ownership of that vehicle. Even if it's not required and you do have a title, then having the bill of sale only provides more proof of the change of ownership, which is only beneficial. Another item that will depend on where you live is emissions testing documents. Some states, like California and Utah, require yearly emissions testing, and in those states, having that kind of documentation will make any potential buyer more at ease about purchasing your vehicle. The same goes for service records. They aren't required, but they do give the buyer confidence that the car has been properly maintained. And some countries, like England and Germany, have compulsory tests to make sure the cars are actually roadworthy. Having all those documents makes the car more valuable than a similar car that has no service records or any related documents. Another item to add value, which you should have on hand when selling, is warranty documents. This only applies if the car has a transferable warranty, but if you have it, it will give you as the seller good leverage in receiving the money you are asking for. Finally, before you try to sell, now that you know all the important things, I would advise you to wait, possibly until 2023 or 2024. I say that because right now the car market is ridiculous. The demand for cars is just as high as it was before COVID, but because of the car manufacturing process, which could be a video on its own, the cars just aren't being made as fast as they used to be. You will have heard about the chip shortage for the last year or two, and unfortunately this is a large catalyst for the steep car prices we see today. But at some point this will no longer be a problem and the prices should drop. So ideally, if you wanted to capitalize on this, you would sell before the prices go down, make the most money you can, and then sell later on once the prices are actually low. That is assuming, of course, that the prices drop rather than decreasing gradually. Timing will be tough, of course. Some studies say that more chips will be available this year, but then some companies like Volkswagen claim that demand likely won't be met until 2024, so it's anyone's bet. I'm going to predict that sometime in the later months of 2023, sort of October or November, sometime in there, that we'll see the prices start to come down. Comment below when you think the prices will drop. It's tough to say that you will get the timing right or that the market even changes as I'm predicting. I admit I'm not an expert in markets, but I can say that now is not the most profitable time, mostly because buying a replacement is just so expensive. If you don't need a replacement though, then yes, now would be the time to sell. What you could do is special order a car at MSRP and then sell your other car when it arrives. But as long as it takes for cars to be built nowadays with the chip shortage and all, I wouldn't really suggest it. I look forward to seeing your guesses in the comments below. Consider subscribing if you found this video interesting. Until next time, people of the internet, peace out.